Yeah, I have a light on my phone.
There we
No.
go.
But
Well, I'll get her phone down.
the lights are working.
Oh, I know.
I mean, we were able to get lights that have control. But I have yet to touch the board, so I'm still a little murky. In the hierarchy, the hierarchy of
Board itself is but the board talks to the right.
we were going to go up to the visitor station. Because I thought the route is a home team. So yeah, the lights, so I have to, I forgot everything. I gotta remember how to catch this.
I just think
No, it was, no, it wasn't.
I am jealous I want that mask.
too bad. I tried finding them again and I've never been able to.
I'm sure if we go to the show site, which
Had it, yeah.
Right? This is going to be cool. I don't know if you need a stage manager.
no, the main problem I had was setting up sports. I forgot about the two different universes. So Mackenzie's Universe 1, Schwartz is 11.
Are we sitting on this side or that side? Or we're sitting over here. I'm kind of.
So whenever you're picking and matching lights, you gotta make sure you assign it. You know, otherwise they won't come in. So that was the main thing I forgot. Wednesdays, Fridays,
How's it going, man? All good?
we're in the wrong place.
Yeah, I think I distinctly saw.
I've got pads on them, but they're not like permanent pads. But yeah, it helps a lot.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our 93rd, the kickoff of our 93rd academic year. For those of you I have not met, my name is Tim Seidel. I'm the Vice President for University Advancement here at Eastern Oregon University. It's great to see everybody here today in a little different setting than we're normally at. But here on the court, we are ready to present and welcome everybody for the new academic year. I'd like to open today's program by introducing the new employees who have joined us over the last year. As you came in today, you hopefully grabbed a new faces flyer, one of these. And I'm going to take a few moments to introduce each person, and we've endeavored to try to get your name correct. And so please give me forgiveness if I don't get it correct. If you're here and I call your name, if you could please rise up and just maybe stand up and wave so some folks can see you and we can put a face to a name. And then just hold your applause till the end so we can get through this. We won't go too fast, though. So in the Division of Academic Affairs, I'd like to introduce Bernice Chavez, Admissions Counselor in Multicultural Recruitment. Lindsay Venutolu, Financial Aid Counselor. Oops, she's here. In the Division of Athletics, Brian Avila, Athletic Equipment Coordinator. Josh Goodman, Assistant Men's and Women's Soccer Coach. Wade Green, Assistant Football Coach. Q Johnson, Assistant Men's Basketball Coach. Christopher Kemp, Interim Men's Basketball Coach. Carlene Sluberski, Head Women's Wrestling Coach. And Heather Watson, Assistant Cheer and Dance Coach. In the College of Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences, Matthew Goerty, Senior Instructor of Sociology. Jessica Holmes, Visiting Assistant Professor of Rhetoric and Composition. Benjamin Mann, Assistant Professor of Communication. Mike Mortimer, Visiting Assistant Professor of History. And Kendra Wright, Instructor of Spanish. In the College of Business, Shubhra Chakrabarti, Associate Professor of Marketing. Ronnie Grant, Senior Instructor of Business. Trent Hahn, Director of Mine Safety. Tanya Kozler, Assistant Professor of Business Accounting. And Chad Mueller, Visiting Assistant Professor of Business Agriculture Entrepreneurship. In the College of Education, Hyun Uk Kim, Associate Professor of Education, Special Education. Kate Puckett, Assistant Professor of Early Childhood Education. Christina Few, Senior Instructor of Education. And in the College of Science, Technology, Mathematics, and Health Sciences, Ike Usawi, Associate Professor of Data Analytics. Zoe Johnson Ulrich, Assistant Professor of Psychology. Dottie McInerney, Office Specialist 2. Jacqueline Morgan, Visiting Senior Instructor of Health and Human Performance. And Kyler Whalen, Science Lab Preparator. In the Division of Finance and Administration, Daniel Durrell, Custodian, Facilities. Casey Henderson, Equipment Specialist, Information Technology. James Hoffman, Director of Campus Safety and Security. And Kimberly Zolman, Administrative Program Assistant, Student Accounts. In the library, Stephanie Brown, Senior Instructor. Samantha Sheely, Technician 2. In the Division of Student Affairs, Hunter Frazier, Office Specialist 2, Learning Center. Christina Henderson, Office Specialist 2, Retention. Simeon Culp, Counselor and Psychologist, Student Counselor, Counseling Center. Jessica Southern, Office Specialist 2, Student Affairs. Christian Thornton, Administration Operations Officer, Residence Life. Tasha Westoff, Area Coordinator, Residence Life. Kayla Yankee, Area Coordinator, Residence Life. And Jordan Withers, Executive Assistant to the Vice President of Student Affairs. And in the Division of University Advancement, Emily Adams, Executive Director of Philanthropy. And Jesse Simon, Website Administrator. Kind of like calling teams out onto the court. Maybe in the future everybody could run out, we could have arches and things going on. It's great to have everybody here and have everybody joining us all together. I would now like to invite Vice Chair Cheryl Martin to the presentation area to say a few words on behalf of the Governing Board of Trustees. Cheryl?
Thank you. Good afternoon. It's an honor to share this day with you. I'm Cheryl Martin, Vice Chair of the Board of Trustees. I've been a member since the inception of the board in 2015, and what a great experience it's been. After teaching for 27 years in a K-12 setting, it has been exciting and engaging to be involved in a post-high school environment. Bachelor's degree in education and a minor in psychology in 1976 when it was called Eastern Oregon State College. There are 9 members in my family with EOU degrees. I'm pretty proud of that fact. One of my earliest childhood memories of Eastern was attending the powwow with my grandmother and then later watching her at her graduation. She'd been teaching for a number of years but needed to complete a 4-year degree after the state requirements changed. Another memory from my youth was attending Grand Ronde Symphony concerts with my parents and sisters. At that time, the auditorium was upstairs in Inlow Hall. I loved walking through those beautiful doors, through the rich wood entryway, and then ascending up that grand stairway to the second floor, choosing a seat and listening to the instruments warm up. I suppose this was my first deep bonding with this university. And then, of course, all the wonderful memories as a student myself. The old Hoke Hall, this is going to date me, the old Hoke Hall that was a remnant of the war years. 217 East Dorian, my dorm room. Great teachers, one being Dr. Loso, and she was a grand lady. Tutoring in Ackerman when it was still an elementary school. Cheerleading, right here. Trying to sing with the madrigals, and so many more. Oh, those were memories. So many changes, and yet so many things remain the same. Like students, still embracing knowledge and experiences while making new friends. Seeking that new opportunity, following passions and realizing dreams, all the while gaining freedoms and losing innocence. Faculty, still sharing, still caring, and searching for new teaching methods, watching for that student that may need an extra pat on the back or a hand up. Recognizing the potential in every person who walks through their door. Campus, still beautiful, still welcoming, safe, and vibrant. Full of activities, clubs, athletics, places to thrive. And administration, still loyal, committed, and always looking for growth and improvements. Our board strives to help enhance those things that stay the same. We value the traditions and milestones, but we also look forward with vision to continue to make it even better. To stay fiscally sound so that the faculty feels secure, that tuition is affordable, and improvements in infrastructure and buildings are feasible. so that new programs, technology, and opportunities reach every student who desires an education and is willing to work for it. They'll have that ability. Our board has thoughtfully considered and sometimes agonized over many difficult decisions. We've enjoyed the positive outcomes of most of those decisions and felt anxiety over others. But above all, we are invested in helping students be successful and graduate on time. Our board is a diverse membership, individuals from many backgrounds and walks of life. We all feel a love and loyalty to EOU and desire to see it thrive. There's a real sense of camaraderie. The structure of the board contains 3 main committees: Finance and Administration, Governance, and Student and Academic Affairs. These committees do a large part of the heavy lifting by delving deeply into whatever matter comes before their committee. They bring that knowledge and understanding back to the full board for discussion and decisions. The board recognizes and acknowledges that this is a beautiful rural university with an outstanding administration, a committed staff and faculty, excellent visionary deans, involved shared governance, a wonderfully diverse student body, a strong foundation and alumni organization, an involved community, and programs directed by folks who deeply desire for every student to feel respected with myriad opportunities to thrive. These have been challenging times, and the Board of Trustees is so proud of the work, strength, and grace that you all have exuded over the past 18 months. You are amazing, and the board is honored to continue this great partnership. We wish for you a great year, and we look forward to seeing you at many upcoming EOU events. Together, let's make this a most memorable year for our students. Thank you, and may God bless.
Thanks, Cheryl. Now I'd like to introduce our Student Government President, Alexa Jameson.
Good afternoon, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Alexa Jameson, and I am the elected student body president for the 2021-2022 academic year. I am honored to have received this invitation to speak here today. Before we dive in, I would like to share a little bit about myself. I am from Caldwell, Idaho, and in a few short days, I will enter into my senior year, and if everything goes as planned, I will graduate with a bachelor's degree in English and history. I will also be applying for the MAT program here at Eastern, so one day I can teach middle schoolers. Throughout my time at Eastern Oregon University, I have witnessed, experienced, and cherished the community that has been created here. I am beyond grateful for the support I have received from faculty and staff, and I know many other students and alumni feel the same gratitude. Student government, in particular, has helped me to become a part of this community through their work, and I plan on continuing this trend for other students. Today, I want to discuss ASUU's goals with all of you. Our Senate has agreed upon 3 goals that we will focus on this year. Each goal is intended to provide long-term benefits to our students, both online and in the classroom. Our first goal revolves around ASUU visibility. We want to increase student awareness of what we stand for, to help strengthen the communication between students, faculty, and staff. We also plan to focus on student retention. The rates of student retention are continuously lowering for a multitude of reasons, threatening EOU's academic and financial stability. By working to increase student success within the classroom and student involvement with campus events, we hope that students will return to EOU the following term, and more importantly, the following year. Finally, we intend to continue the work of previous ASUU student governments by focusing on the health and wellness of students. Combating student hunger will continue to be a big focus, but we will be also looking at ways to help students who are overwhelmed with stress and anxiety due to food, school, and money insecurities. Through the implementation of these goals, we hope to create a welcoming and enjoyable environment for students during these challenging times. As students arrive for the academic year, please keep in mind not only your ability to strengthen our university and its community, but also the impact you have on students and their future. I look forward to working with you throughout the year. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Alexa. And next up, we have another speaker that some of you may or may not know. President Tom Insko is here to provide an update on the university. Tom?
I told myself I wasn't going to do this. I am so excited to welcome you to our 93rd academic year. And hopefully as I speak today, my emotion will become clear. I love this picture. Tomorrow I get to go out and take another one with this year's Week of Welcome team. And we missed last year. Our students missed out on a wonderful event. Our students missed out on a lot of what makes EOU special. And that's why I'm so happy to be back on campus together in community with you, and ultimately with our students here later this week as our new cohort of students join us here on campus and online as well. I want to, before I jump into some of my comments, ask our new employees that had their names read off to please just all stand and let me personally welcome you to EOU. It's my pleasure to welcome you to Eastern, and hopefully you find what I've found over decades of connection with this university, that this is a special place. And thank you for bringing your gifts, your talents to our institution and partnering with us and being part of the team and creating the Eastern experience for our students and helping make us a better university through your skills and talents. I also want to acknowledge Cheryl for being here today. As Tim mentioned, Cheryl is our vice chair. Richard Chavs was not able to be here for personal reasons. I appreciate Cheryl stepping up as she has for our retreat and other meetings as well in her capacity as vice chair. But hopefully when she spoke, it resonated with you as well as it did with me. Her personal connections and ties to this institution. I could go on and on about my experiences as well. I won't bore you with that, at least not right now. But I've said it before, and I think it's important to highlight that we are so blessed with a board of trustees that's truly passionate about this institution. These are volunteer trustees that put in a tremendous amount of time on behalf of our university, that are advocating on our behalf, that are challenging us to be better than we are today, tomorrow, and are willing to do the hard work with us to truly make Eastern Oregon University great. So thank you, Cheryl, and thank you to all of our trustees. And then I do want to acknowledge Alexa. I was telling her before, I remember being a student here. Talk about courage. In terms of getting up in front of people, there is no way you could have paid me enough to be the ASEOU president, to step up and be a leader like you are. I look forward to working with you this year and making this university better and really identifying how we can continue to serve students better. So thank you for your leadership and dedication. And I'd also like to take this opportunity to recognize the leads of our primary shared governance committees, Faculty Senate and University Council. Peter Maley, the former president of Faculty Senate, for your dedication and work last year, and for incoming Faculty Senate President Ashley Walker, I'm looking around trying to find her, for coming in and serving in that really important capacity. I should note Ashley is also the incoming president for the Northwest region of IACBE. That's the accrediting body for our College of Business. I appreciate that she's representing Eastern Oregon University in that capacity. And then for University Council, DJ Pfaffenbach in the house. Thank you very much. Kyle Pfaffenbach, that is. If you come to the stress-free event this year, which I hope HHP is going to do, you'll see the DJ and Kyle. Thank you for your leadership of University Council, your passion, your energy, and for Jeff Carmen coming into that capacity this year. Again, you're a glutton for punishment, my man, but thank you for taking on this role. So, I've thought a lot about what I would say today. And as many of you know, I like charts and graphs and data and those types of things. I think you may witness the first presentation by Tom Insko to not include charts, graphs, or data. That's all important. That's good. Yes, I love that stuff. But today I want to focus on a couple of other things that I think are critically important and really the one thing this year as we go into our 93rd academic year. As I reflected on the past year, the word that kept coming to mind for me was gratitude. I've often referenced we took the road less traveled as a university. It wasn't the easy road, but it was the right road for our students. I'm so grateful for this team and what you all did over the course of this last year, frankly for the last 18 months, to acknowledge that first and foremost we are here for students and that our students need connection and interaction. And so the fact that we chose to do a significant level of in-person activities, albeit subdued and under tight protocols and such, I'm so thankful for, because our students benefited from that. But at the same time, frankly, I'm saddened that our first-year students last year didn't get the experience that our first-year students are going to get this year. I'm glad that our second-year students will be getting that we are returning to the vibrant EOU educational experience. Yes, we have challenges in front of us, but we can surpass those challenges. And I think the best illustration for my gratitude and the perseverance that you all showed is what you see up here and what culminated last year when we were last together as a university community as a whole. Commencement. I say during commencement, this is the happiest day of the year at EOU, and I truly mean that, to be able to join with our students in their successes, celebrating their successes, acknowledging their hard work, being a partner with them, and having their family join in that celebration is so meaningful. And as I scrolled through the photos and media that we have from that time, literally I was crying. Yes, I'm a crier. Unless I'm on the basketball court or football field. But it meant so much to me that our team came together and said, we're going to make an in-person commencement work. We're going to provide that opportunity for our graduates to walk across that stage with their family there to watch them, to celebrate all that they had accomplished. Thank you for that. That's why we're here. It's for their success, and I'm grateful for what you've done to make that happen this past year. So as I think about the question, what is the state of our university? Oftentimes I'll pull out graphs and charts and financial numbers and that kind of stuff. And I will just say one thing, financially, we're fine. We're okay, we don't have to focus on that. I'm not going to focus on that today. But three words, the three P's come to mind when I think about the state of our university and as we look forward. Perseverance, people in particular that lead to possibility through that perseverance as we deal with the challenges of COVID-19. Over the course of this last year, we accomplished great things. I look forward to what we're going to accomplish as we move forward. Sorry, I gotta do the classic big drink of water. I found this quote particularly inspiring to me recently, and I think it sums up our perseverance and where I want us to go this year, and I think where all of you are committed to going this year. The pandemic's not over. We've been blessed with tools to mitigate risk against the pandemic. We're blessed with a wonderful team and, frankly, fantastic students that will endure these protocols that we have in place to allow us to come together and be a community versus individuals. I can tell you in talking with both my own kids as well as so many others that no, we weren't alone this past year, but we have a lot of lonely people, especially students. I can't believe when I sit and talk to seniors graduating from high school that haven't been in class for 18 months. Can you fathom that as in your own situation growing up? And extrapolate that to students that we're particularly good at serving, students that don't have the resources frequently, that don't have the structure, to not have that structure in their schools. We have a lost set of students out there that we have to find a way to reconnect with, to bring back to higher education and specifically to EOU. And so I look at life and how we ought to live life as it's not about waiting for the storm to pass. We hear about life isn't fair. We've all experienced those moments in our own lives. It's really about learning to dance in the rain. And so let me highlight a few things over the course of this last year where we have tiptoed a little bit of a dance in the rain, and I look forward to doing an all-out breakout. I wish I could do break dancing on the floor as an illustration. Yeah, I'll pull another. I'll have another injury to deal with. But we had an extremely successful 2021 academic year, and even as we were dealing with COVID and figuring out how we were going to navigate that, we still were able to come together, celebrate the accomplishment at commencement with our students. Our College of Education is just hitting it out of the park. You'll see some of that in the video that I'll show at the end of my talk here today. But also they received their ACEP accreditation, and that was led by Rayette. We're the first university. Thank you. First university in the state of Oregon to receive that accreditation, if I'm correct, right, Dean Seamers? Or am I not right? Who? Oh, the doggone Ducks beat us? All right, I won't claim that anymore. We were number 2. So College of Education isn't quite as high on the list anymore. No, doing great work. Accomplishing that during the pandemic has been phenomenal. We've launched new degrees, a new degree in cybersecurity, in data analytics, one in ag entrepreneurship. These are exciting degrees. They're relevant to our students. They're relevant to our region. I'm extremely excited about the ag entrepreneurship. The response from our region has been phenomenal, frankly. I anticipate having some pretty exciting announcements about that degree here shortly in the coming months. But we continue to move forward as a university. I'd highlight the Eastern Oregon Center for Economic Information. Peter Maley and Scott McConnell started that. In partnership with the Rev, they have begun some projects, and it's an example of where Eastern can be in terms of informing the dialogue around rural communities, rural economies, and rather than calling in some big university, we can do that here. So I'm excited to see things like that begin to arise, especially during a pandemic. I'd like to highlight the Eastern Oregon Social Science Journal winning first place for schools our size. I don't see Aaron Thornburg here, but Aaron is the advisor of that group. It just illustrates the caliber of our students, the caliber of our faculty. It's an external indicator of how well we do. I want to take a moment to acknowledge our facilities folks. It's virtually multiple times a week that I hear from alumni or visitors to this campus that talk about the beauty of what we have here and the facilities at our disposal. And that isn't by chance. Obviously, we're blessed with wonderful landscape, but our facilities are wonderful, and alumni in particular talk about how much nicer it is today than it was when I was here, when others were here. Not that it was bad then, but we continue to make progress. And so thank you to the facilities team. It's exciting to see our field house coming up and what we're going to be able to do with that. It's exciting to have our new theater, LOSO upgrades that are going on, and it will be exciting to begin to implement the project of our Enlow Hall upgrades that we were funded by the legislature this last year with, and facilities does a top-notch job with that. I see David's here, and I don't see John in the audience right now. I also want to highlight that we dealt with the challenging issue of our library name. And again, during the pandemic, I'm proud of how our institution addressed that. I'm proud of the fact that we stepped back and really looked into that, tried to understand the facts as well as we could, and had crucial conversations around what does it mean to name a building for someone, and the importance of those names and those we hold high in esteem, sharing the values of this university, but also acknowledging the importance of learning from that history and make it front and center for us to learn from, which is, to me, much of the definition of higher education. And so I look forward to the team that's going to work on the display to share that checkered history that we have with the Pierce name and Pierce as governor, allowing EOU to be here in La Grande, Oregon, because we are here because of that checkered past. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but I want to end the highlights with, again, what people accomplished here. It wasn't really the physical assets, but it was the commitment of faculty. You'll see it in the video, but the week of music that was put on at LOSO Hall, that wasn't easy to do, but again, allowed our students to have the opportunity to share their talents, to get that opportunity that students at other universities didn't get to have. And it was truly a gift to me to be one of the select group that got to sit in the newly renovated Schwartz Theater and watch our student productions on the new stage, the rotating stage that both took advantage of, that provides a lot more versatility and functionality within that theater. But again, it took dancing in the rain, accepting the fact that we can do many things, even in the face of the adversity of the COVID pandemic. So as we look forward to this year, first and foremost, the most important thing is that we're here, that we're present for our students. But we also have a lot of opportunities to begin to reach out to students that we missed, that frankly are floating out there. And so we're making a number of investments. One, you may have seen our Bridge Academy, our first Bridge Academy, where we invited students to campus to ensure that we provided them preparatory work as well as built community for them. Nancy, Beanie, Corey, Kathleen, thank you for your leadership on that. I know they were out there today, in fact, as well. This is critically important. We're going to continue to invest in reaching out and finding those students that have fallen through the cracks through what we're referring to as Strong Start dollars. We'll have that team continue to work on that. We're going to be investing in additional support services for our students, in particular those that need to understand how to navigate the benefits that exist for them. And I also appreciate that a team came together to submit a Title III grant, which is a multi-million-dollar grant that would provide us resources for enhanced advising services for students, as well as student success and support services going forward. And finally, and you'll hear more about this too, because I don't want to go into great depth here, because I know I'm between you and beverages and food. We're going to invest more in diversity, inclusion, and belonging. I frequently say that's everybody's job, and I firmly believe that. But we can do better. And so consequently, we're going to be putting funds into enhancing what we have in terms of resources, enhancing the leadership in that space to continue to put pressure on each and every one of us to identify how is it that we're not being our best selves and creating an environment to support our diverse students and providing the belonging for those students, basically that we start with Week of Welcome on. So expect more to come from that. So as we proceed forward, I hearken back to commencement 3 years ago. How many of you heard Sky Fitzgerald speak at commencement? Great, a lot of you. To this day, still the best commencement speech I've ever heard. Maybe it's because I know him and he's a great friend of mine, but I think he had some things to say that I hope you will take into this year. These are directly from his speech to the students at commencement, but he talked about linchpin moments, and I think we're in a linchpin moment, frankly, right now as a university, in terms of who we're going to be and how we're going to serve students. But he talked about appreciating the little things. And frankly, with all the discourse about vaccine, masks, pick your issue around COVID-19, I think we've forgot to step back and appreciate the little things in a lot of cases. So I just challenge you every day to step back and appreciate the little things. I was on my way to work today. I got halfway down the drive and I forgot my lunch. Initially, I'm frustrated, right? I got to turn around and go back. Turned around, I'm driving up, here's this little fawn. Literally, it was almost angelic, sitting under a pine tree there. I was like, wow, I missed that before. I'm so fortunate to live in an environment like this. I got my salad, came back, and literally the clouds were opened up with the light shining through. We've all seen those pictures, often praise posters and such have them. And I was just like, how fitting for opening session to have that, to, at least for me, represent all that is good about today and for us. Fear. Who hasn't felt a little fear with COVID-19 or the things going on in our society as a result of COVID-19? But Sky talked about knowing it, embracing it, and leveraging it. So let's talk about that as we go into this year, as we address the real challenges, and maybe have a little fear around it. but we need to embrace it and we need to figure out how to leverage it for the sake of our students. And then make a life worth living. For me, that's why I'm here, frankly. I can't think of a job that I could have, if I do it right, a more impactful situation on life, other people's lives. And finally, and what I think is so special about EOU, because I see people do it all the time, is being fully present as a campus community with our students and for one another. See others, see their need, see you have a gift to share, and share it. We have a tremendous opportunity to do that this year, especially. So I'm going to shift a little bit. I like symbols. I didn't even think about this relative to being in this gym and the big EOU. I don't know how much time you all spend thinking about our logo or how it resonates with you. Any thoughts about it? That's kind of cool. It's an EOU. For me, I think it exemplifies my experience at EOU and what really creates the Eastern educational experience. So think about that logo here. But for me, as I think about the logo, it illustrates for me the connection between faculty and students, between our students and our landscape, our students and experience, the opportunity for students to get dirty and learn through experience and applied opportunities. For me, I think of the connection of us to our community, the youth of our community, the opportunity to be present with one another and others to learn from us. Maybe there's a little bit of intensity, coaching, challenging, mentoring that it reminds you of. It does for me. Reminds me of celebrating each other, laughing together, but truly being together. And it also represents for me the extraordinary education that our faculty provide for our students and that I received here. So when I think about our logo and what resonates for me is there's an EO and there's a U. And when I'm talking to students, when I'm talking about my own experience with students that are considering Eastern Oregon University, so just look at our logo. I don't know if it was by chance. I wasn't here when it was designed. Maybe it was. It's all intentional. Tim would be like, oh yeah, we thought of all this, integrated it in. Probably did. They're that good. But for me, it really symbolizes how interconnected we are, interdependent we are, and that special experience our students get because of that dynamic that we have when we connect the way we can at EOU. So I want to tell you a story of an alumni at Eastern that I'm very familiar with. So this alumni, he was a young man. He was going on to college. It wasn't a question in that regard. He came from a family that had educators. So it wasn't a question whether he's going to go to college, but he was looking at institutions, both public and private, and he knew he had to pay for his education himself. So EOU came up on the radar screen in that regard. He also was looking for a school that was not too big. Maybe was a little scared of pushing out of his comfort zone of the smaller high school that he'd been going to. And he also wanted to play college sports, and so he knew he wasn't going to go on to some big NCAA school. And so he looked around, and EOU came up on his radar, and he decided he would go there. And very quickly, he began to experience what made EOU special, and I hope is on your mind as we start our year this year together. First thing, he started to interact with faculty in class, of course, and he was going to get a computer science degree. But after one term, no offense, computer science geeks, he said, nah, this isn't for him. But he sat down with a computer science faculty member and had a discussion that frankly he wouldn't have had at any other institution. He's confident of that when he told me. And that person connected him with the math faculty, and he sat down with the math faculty and said, I'll give this a try. So he started down the pathway of getting his degree in math, and very quickly developed relationships with his faculty. Frankly, this guy was good in school, but you know, getting a math degree, it's not like getting an education degree or something. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. No. He started to realize he had the ability, the skills and such, because these faculty spent time. They started to invite him to functions outside of the classroom. They engaged directly with him, got to know him. It was obvious they cared about him. Started to ask about his athletic endeavors. Your math faculty asked him about that. Came to a couple of his games, talked to him after the fact, shared some of the struggles that were going on with that individual. Then he had administrators start to chat with him and challenge him to do more than just go to class and play sports, and suggested he get involved in student government. And at first, the guy told me, he said, I thought student government was for wimps in high school, it was a waste of time, et cetera, et cetera. Got involved in student government. Started to be challenged in terms of his skill set, to step out of his comfort zone. But what was created for him when he was here at Eastern was a safe place for him to try things, to fail. You know, we all have pride. This young man had pride too. Didn't want to be seen failing, but people pushed him and said they'd be behind him and help him along the way. He was able to experience projects that connected his academic experience in the classroom to the real world. He was able to get an internship and apply what he learned in the classroom and understand how that translated to potential careers. And because of all the care and love and support that he had, he got extremely involved in co-curricular activities. That young man went on to graduate from EOU, went on to graduate school, and today serves as your president. I am who I am today, not because of numbers, not because of physical infrastructure. I am who I am today because people cared for me. We connected in person. People challenged me and turned me into the leader that I am today. I told Alexa when I first had to speak publicly in college, I couldn't talk. I nearly passed out. But because of people like you, and frankly, a few of you were here, part of that experience, not to make you feel old. I won't call you out. But as I've thought about this year, as I've thought about the struggles our students have gone through, the struggles I have had, the struggles the executive team has had, and no offense, but the struggles that we all have had are small compared to what our students are facing. And although we're a pioneer in online education, and that side of our business, our institution is doing wonderful and has been, and they meet our students where they are. Today, for me, exemplifies us in the rain, meeting our students where they need us to be, in person, And I know that means embracing some fears around a pandemic. But for me, I feel like it's my responsibility, given what people have done for me over my life. And so I hope all of you will join me in that excitement. I know you're committed to our students, and that you will think about how to see the need and take your gifts and share that gift with our students. Because if we do that, we will introduce possibilities in their life that I can personally attest to are unimaginable to them. And that's the gift that we can provide them. And that's the opportunity we have in front of us. So with that, thank you for enduring a non-data informed set of talking points. I'd like to turn it over to the video, which captures some of the highlights of the past year and hopefully sets the mood for an exciting 93rd academic year here at Eastern Oregon University.
Eastern Oregon University is celebrating its 93rd fall term as a beacon of higher education in rural Oregon. But EOU isn't really an it. Eastern is made of people. Scientists, coaches, artists, teachers, writers, nurses, helpers, and leaders from across the world. Our community of learners, mentors, and colleagues has achieved much and done even more to ensure EOU is around for another century to come. Interdependence is part of our shared values and principles. The vibrant connections and relationships among Mountaineers enhance student success on campus and beyond. Damian Tracy graduated in spring 2021 and already got the promotion he was hoping for. He attended classes online, working and caring for his 4 kids during a pandemic. Advisors, professors, regional center staff, financial aid counselors, and transfer specialists made his journey possible. This interconnected network continually enriches academic quality and enhances intellectual vitality. The first cohort of Sustainable Rural Systems students witnessed the power of collaboration as they embarked on the program's first project, a historic school in Baker City. Partnerships with nonprofits, agencies, and community members are key to this real-world learning experience. EOU students enjoy access, opportunity, and completion because of the mutual respect and cooperation among university departments. Building upon that solid foundation, the governing board and university leaders managed EOU's resources to ensure that no undergraduate students saw a tuition increase for 2021-22. Holding tuition flat, a feat recognized by the governor and state lawmakers, reinforces EOU's commitment to keep higher education accessible to all. Accomplishing big goals in the midst of change requires a dedicated community of exceptional people. EOU attracts students, employees, and friends who are interested in making Oregon's rural university the best it can be. Those relationships shone bright when classified staff initiated a grassroots movement to spread positivity last spring. The Looking for the Good project tapped into existing goodwill and gratitude, illuminating our interdependence on a wide scale. Our networks stretch beyond the boundaries of campus, cementing EOU as the educational, economic, and cultural engine for rural places. This role is immense and made possible by continued reliance on one another. Recent upgrades to performing arts facilities stand as a testament to the university's investment in rural community vitality. Even during a pandemic, members of the public turn to EOU for a cultural and artistic boon. Keeping these important programs active depends on the shared work of stewarding, sustaining, and growing financial resources. Faculty in the College of Education brought in more than $500,000 in grant funding last year, ensuring the continued success of programs like Oregon Teacher Pathways, Teach Rural Oregon, and the Eastern Oregon Teacher Academy. Connections like this open up additional sources of support and opportunities to engage with alumni, nonprofits, donors, and agencies who believe in EOU's mission. Although the tasks can seem overwhelming, our shared mission and values unite us. An alumnus recently told me that EOU is a beacon for people who want to make a difference in the world. He transferred and moved to LeGrand 3 decades ago. He remembers working nights cleaning the library, and that his boss on campus became like family because his own parents were across the ocean in Osaka, Japan. Money was tight, but the community at EOU made sure he was housed on holidays and that he always had someone to ask for help. Now a naturalized U.S. citizen and a park ranger, Todd Hisaichi is asking how he can help the EOU students of today. It takes a special kind of person to see the beacon Todd talked about and follow it to EOU. Nobody ends up in LeGrand by accident. You chose EOU, and EOU has chosen you right back. Student stories like Todd's don't just happen. Individual actions, small moments of kindness, friendship, or encouragement weave an incredible web. Knowing each other is our superpower. Interdependence is our strength. That's why these 18 months apart have been both difficult and affirming. We've remained connected. We've been that beacon for one another, that guiding light. It's cheesy, but it's true. In the depths of February or the anticipation of September, Mountaineers shine bright.
We are parents
And aunties
and best friends
and deep thinkers.
and deep thinkers.
We are dreamers and question askers and thrill seekers.
and thrill seekers.
We are creators.
Advocates and game changers.
True blue.
True blue,
True blue.
true blue, brilliant gold. We are mountaineers.
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 That was awesome. So we got the dancing started. I don't know if this is on it. Oh, yep, it is. We got the dancing started there. So we are mountaineers, and you never know your impact. I'm going to share one last story. The new faculty heard this, but as many of you know, my dad worked here for 25 plus years. He was a coach. I got a call out of the blue about 2 months ago from a young man, an older gentleman now, Rodney Roberts. I remember watching Rodney Roberts when I was 8 years old, 44-inch vertical. I remember that. It's like, I want to jump like Rodney. My father hadn't heard from Rodney for decades. Rodney called me and said, I need to be with your dad. And he wanted it to be a secret, but I've talked with Dad afterwards. He's like, I had no idea the impact I had on his life. You know, for decades, having not been connected. But as Rodney was reflecting through this time of COVID on what really matters, he thought about the connections, the people in his life. And he flew from Washington, D.C. in late August to spend 3 days. And I said, what else do you want to do? We did come up to campus. But he said, Tom, you don't understand. I just want to be in the presence of your father because of what he did for me when I was a student at Eastern Oregon University. We have that opportunity. And sometimes we may not know what impact we have. We may not learn for decades, and we may never learn. But share your gift and make this 93rd academic year one to remember at Eastern Oregon University and for our students. Thanks. I look forward to joining you this year, and I ask that now we go outside celebrating, coming together in community, in our commitment to be partners in discovery for our students, transforming lives so people go on to live a great life and have fulfilling careers, because that's what it's all about. So thank you, welcome, Happy New Year. We have it all set up. You know, I dialed in the good weather, got the rain, so it, moistened things up, but food and beverages are outside so that we can enjoy one another and still provide a healthy and safe environment.